Good morning. I appreciate everybody being here today. Certainly for me, in what has been almost an 11-month blur of my life after being named head coach, I believe it was January 30th, and then my wife giving birth to our fourth child a couple of weeks later, and then going through a lot of things for the first time as a head football coach. I really can't think of any other way to finish this season than to do it down here in Orlando, and the people here at Florida Citrus Sports and Steve Hogan and his staff have given our football program an experience as good as we could have, and certainly as quality and experience as we could have hoped for, and something I think our program will never forget and will take going forward as almost the standard of bowl games that we've been to. So we appreciate everything they've done for us. And in my first year as a head football coach, to have the opportunity to coach a bowl game of this stature against a program like Virginia Tech and a legendary football coach like Coach Beamer is an honor for me, and something I'm really looking forward to, and certainly something that I will remember for a long time, and something hopefully someday I'll be able to tell my grandkids about. I introduced my son to Coach Beamer, and I don't know if my son quite understands how fortunate he was to shake that man's hand, but someday he will, and I think that'll be a moment that he will not forget anytime soon. I think when you get to this point in the season, it's not really about concerns. And I felt all year that we've had a mature football team, and I've been very pleased the entire season with how we've prepared. And I think this has been a player-driven team, and I think the best teams that I've been associated with through my career have been player-driven teams. I think when the coaches have to drive the team in excess, it just detracts from too many other things you have to do as a football coach. So I'm really proud of the way this team is prepared. And as we get to this point in a bowl week and in bowl prep, it's not so much concern, it's just reminders to the players that now you have to turn the page, flip the switch, whatever your expression is, and put yourself in your pregame rituals. Whatever the things are you do 24 to 36 hours before a game to get your body and your mind ready to play a Division I major college football game against a really good opponent. Those are the things you need to do now, and take your mind off of all the enjoyable experiences you may have had and the things that may be in your future, either as a college athlete or a professional athlete or whatever it is they decide to do, when they're done, being Rutgers football players. We have a 3-hour window, 3 to 3.5 hour window of time tomorrow where we get to be the 2012 football team one more time, and we want to make sure we give ourselves every opportunity to be 1-0 when we do that. I think 10-win seasons in college football are the standard for the elite programs. I think we counted them up. I think there were only 20 or 21 BCS level football teams in the country that had an opportunity to win 10 or more games, going into the bowl season. And I think that puts you, again, in an elite status. And certainly at a university where it's only been done twice in the past, I think you better take those things very seriously. And these opportunities have not come around as often for us as maybe for Virginia Tech, but this is an opportunity for us to do that. And I think for this 2012 team, it will be one more way of separating them from some of the teams of the past. To win their share of the Big East title for the first time in the history of the university. They've already separated themselves. They put themselves in a class that nobody else is in. But I think when you got an opportunity to win 10 games as a team and as a football program, you need to take advantage of those opportunities and give yourself every chance to do it. I'm glad you used that word, because that's the exact word that we use in our program. We feel like we've built a culture of winning bowl championships, and again, they're championships, and eventually these players are going to get a ring, and we want that ring to say Russell Athletic Bowl champions. And I think that's very important to us as coaches. It's very important to those seniors, and certainly as you build your program, you want to build it on winning championships, not just getting to games, but being able to get to those games and then ultimately win them. I think our program is unique for this reason. We have an opportunity as we make our move into the Big Ten that we're excited about for our future, of really not changing our recruiting footprint. And there are certain schools around the country that can do that, but there's a lot more that can't. There's a lot more schools that really have to go more than 4 hours away from campus to get a majority of the team or the players they feel they need to win the national championship. And we feel at Rutgers that we don't have to do that. We recruit what we call the state of Rutgers, which really is a 4 to 4.5 hour radius around our campus, and then we come to the state of Florida, which we've always done. Florida's always been a big part of our program, and always something we've considered this part of the state of Rutgers. And certainly, you just look at our team, our starting left guard from Columbus High School, our starting left tackle from Ed White in Jacksonville, our starting tailback from the Bowl School, Marcus Thompson, one of our starting defensive ends, and certainly many others on our present team and on some past teams. So I think that gives us a unique opportunity. Sleeping Giant, I think it's hard to classify a team that's gone to 7 bowl games in 8 years as a sleeping giant. I don't know if that would be the case, but I do understand the point you're trying to make. I think we have a unique opportunity because our recruiting footprint doesn't need to change to go where we want to go. I think the most concerning thing about Logan Thomas is that he's going to play in the game. And then the second thing would be the only player we have on our team who physically looks like him is our tight end, D.C. Jefferson, who is a pretty impressive looking guy himself. So the fact that gentleman lines up and touches the ball on every play, and every offensive snap they have, he's a legitimate weapon in every phase of the game. Somebody who's projected as a first-round draft pick, and certainly somebody that can make plays throwing the ball and then make plays running it. And the last thing I would say is he's a very unique player to prepare for, very hard to prepare for, because you put players back there as the scout team quarterback, and yeah, they run around and they throw the ball, but when you have to go tackle an athlete like Logan Thomas at his size, that is not an easy thing to do, and we need to make sure that early in the game we get multiple players to those tackles and make sure we can get him on the ground and hopefully minimize the effect he has on the game. Appreciate you giving me credit for watching the film. I think they're a football team that's committed to running the football. They value very similar things to what we value offensively, and I think defensively and special teams. And I think even though we don't do it the same way, they certainly value the run game, and you can see that they value being a physical football team, which is something we also value. So I think it's going to be two football teams trying to do the same things to each other, and really whoever executes the best tomorrow at 5:30 is going to be the team that has an opportunity to be 1-0. Sure. Darius, for those of you who aren't as familiar with our program, Darius Hamilton is a true freshman, a defensive tackle from Don Bosco High School in New Jersey, North Jersey, an elite high school program in our area, and he was the #1 player in our state last year, and he has done a tremendous job of being able to play an entire season at defensive tackle in major college football, a little bit undersized. He's only about 250 pounds, after his pregame meal. So he's really done an excellent job of being able to transfer the things he did well in high school, play with a great motor, play with great pad level, use his hands very effectively, and then be able to do those same things in college football and be a productive player. I think he'll be somebody who's got a really bright future and a bright career at Rutgers, and he'll be a big part of our defense tomorrow for sure. I think in a perfect world, college football is always best when it's regional, and the fan bases can travel to the away games and get home the same day without a lot of cost to the families. And again, that would be a perfect world, utopia, so to speak. But I don't think that's just the reality of college football anymore. So, we are very excited about where we're going, even though, really there won't be many of those type of games, and we'll have to see what we can do out of conference to hopefully have some of those games for our fan base. But I think our fan base will be really excited about the games we will play, and if they do have the opportunity to make a road trip, they're going to do it to places that are really neat places to be on Saturday afternoons, and certainly when those teams come to High Point Solution Stadium, it'll be a great atmosphere in Piscataway as well. So, I think in a perfect world it would be regional. I just don't know that that's the case anywhere in the country anymore, and I don't think it's ever going back. I don't think it'll go that direction either. So, we're really excited about our move to the Big Ten coming up, and there's no doubt for us it's where we want it to be, and will put us in a position to do everything we want to do as a football program. I don't know that I'm an expert on all the history. By the time I got to Rutgers 8 years ago, Virginia Tech was not in the Big East, so I was not a part of any of those games. What I would tell you is, I think Virginia Tech has the type of program that I hope to lead at Rutgers. A program, to play against a program in this game that's gone to 20 straight bowl games. That's something we hope to say at Rutgers 18 years from now. because we just started a new streak. 7 out of 8, but again, 2 years ago we didn't go. So that's hopefully something we'll be able to say in the future. The staff stability that they have is something I hope to have at Rutgers. I think those are things that allow you to build elite programs and also allow you to have consistency. Consistency in recruiting, consistency in coaching, and consistency in all the things, the core values that make up the core values of your football program. So I do see the similarities in that case, and certainly knowing what the program of Virginia Tech was before Coach Beamer took over, you certainly could make some of those comparisons as well. So I see them as a great model for what we're hopefully becoming fast.
Playing a team that's really good, really good. We played them back in the Big East, but this is a different Rutgers program right now. They're much more talented. Got those big, tall receivers that can run and play great defense and blocked a bunch of kicks. And they're just a really very talented, well-coached football team. So we got our work cut out for us in that regard. Yeah. Well, the special teams play, I think it starts with personnel, and they put good personnel out there, and then they get great effort. And those are the things. And in special teams, things happen, and they're usually, it's out in space, so you need good athletes, and they have them, and then you need great effort, and they have them. And not every team plays like that, but you can tell they really emphasize their special teams. Yeah, they're very aware of that. I told them yesterday, and I mean this, I'm really proud of this football team, because we've lost some games in tough ways. We've had some unusual things happen. We haven't always played great, as well as we need to play, and had some tough things happen. Had some disappointments, had setbacks, had adversity. But the football team always stayed together. They never pointed fingers. They always stayed together, played hard for the most part, and ended up winning our last 2 games when things just didn't look very good. And so, if we could win this game, I think it'd make a statement about, being tough-minded and overcome adversity and fighting through things, and regardless of what the circumstances are, you attack things the same way. So I think it means all of that. Yeah, absolutely. I think what they stress, you see the same things in our program. It's interesting. We've had about 4 different people talk about how good our kids have been. A lady that's working in the food area here, came up to me and said, we got the greatest kids, most polite. The people over there that give kids the World Village, one of their workers came up to me and talked about how great our kids were. I got Best Buy, the people in there, talked about their kids. We had the policeman that on a motorcycle that takes us to practice and all. He said something like, we've been doing this 28 years, and this is the best group that we've ever had. And I take it as a real compliment. But the other side of it, John Boleyn was over there yesterday, and he was talking to a couple of Rutgers guys, and he told them, he said, you guys are really the most polite guys and courteous. So I think we're emphasizing the same things in our program. Good people, good kids, work hard, stress special teams. You gotta, be tough-minded in your way you approach the game, relentless, and so I agree with that totally. I think we're very much emphasizing the same things.